Hello darlings, welcome back to the channel. My name is Reetta and this is Higurashi When They Cry chapter 1. Last time we left off in this here dialogue, we declared that I don't believe in the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Really? That's great. Guess you really are one of those city-raised boys. So what if I don't believe it? I have friends waiting, so could you get to the point? The man in this picture is dead. That man being Tomitake-san, the photographer, who hung out with us the night before. My mind went blank. What happened to Tomitake-san? It would seem that he died last night. That was the night of the Watanagashi. Do you understand the implications behind that, Maebara-san? Implications? Not any for the cause of his death or the reasons behind it. The real problem was that he died on the day of the Watanagashi, meaning this year the curse of Oyashiro-sama had once again. The death of Jiro Tomitake is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right? I didn't want to understand why. Please tell me. Tell me what happened. It was rather peculiar. It might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hinamizawa. It was a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me to doubt whether or not I wanted to hear the rest. I would only regret forcing myself to learn of something I shouldn't. Or at least, that's how I figured I would feel if I listened to the rest. Oh, we don't know. Oh. One of our patrol cars discovered the body on the way back from security detail at the festival. It was late, about 5 till midnight. The location was, you know where the road into town becomes paved, right? Down past the slope, on the shoulder around there. There were a few street lights on that road. Its pitch black darkness was only broken by the lights of passing cars and the moon. It was a stroke of luck that Tomitake-san was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. Tomitake-san was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt. We thought it was a hit and run at first, but when the officer checked to see if he was still alive, he quickly noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped open. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? As in fingernails? With those he clawed through. From the coroner's report, it was revealed that it was with his own nails. Huh? What does that mean? Basically, it means it wasn't a murder, it was suicide. Tomitake-san thought there was a reason to tear open his own throat, as hard as he could with his own nails, tore through the skin until he started to bleed. And even then, Tomitake-san didn't stop. He continued clawing, with enough intensity that he could have peeled off his nails, still clawing. Still clawing. Then, as his nails reached those vital arteries that you shoot something, never damage, he continued clawing, splurred. Blood spattered on the ground around him. As he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasmed, and he died in agony. We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. But it was a suicide. I never heard of such a thing. This unnatural way of dying. If this wasn't a mysterious death, then what was? The way he died, in these 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Tomitake-san, who proclaimed there was no such a thing as a curse, that we were wrong. And there were a few more suspicious details from his body chemistry, perspiration, epilation, and so on. We concluded that he was in a state of hysteria right before his death. Well, that was a given. It's hard to believe someone could be in sound state of mind while clawing out their own throat. Wounds on his hands matched a discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There are traces of where he struck trees and the guardrails with it. Tomitake-san's blood was found all over the place. Meaning that while he was tearing at his own throat, he was swinging around a piece of lumber. There were external injuries which were not self-inflicted discovered on Tomitake-san. There is a high probability Tomitake-san was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may be multiple suspects. To summarize, Tomitake-san was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the night roads in a state of panic after being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried fighting back. Somewhere in there he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it. And then he died. The presumed time of death was around 9:23 p.m., meaning it occurred right after you finished talking to Tomitake-san at the festival. Everyone signed Tomitake-san's shirt, then parted ways, right after that. Yeah, he should have been with a woman. What about her? She's missing. She hasn't shown up to work and she hasn't returned home either. There is a very high probability that she was involved in this incident. For a while I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought that something unfortunate happening to somebody close to me could affect me this deeply. The time I had spent with Tomitake-san was short, but we went to the same festival, spent time together and took part in the same competition. He was one of us. We have been continuing the investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to Oyashiro-sama's curse, the villagers here aren't very cooperative. That I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomitake-san, the outsider, telling me. So that's why you came to me, because I'm not originally from Hinamizawa. I should have been angry that was the reason he wanted to hear what happened from me. If things go the way they have been, then conclusion would be that Jiro Tomitake died from Oyashiro-sama's curse. He turned away from me and gazed far off into the distance. The night of the Watanagashi, during that sacred ritual, he callously snapped off photos, angering Oyashiro-sama. That's how it's going to turn out. There's no way Oyashiro-sama would inflict divine punishment on Tomitake-san. Tomitake-san had to have been killed by humans, and a cowardly group no less. There's no way I'm going to let this end up being the fault of some curse. I think so as well. There's no such thing as divine punishment or curses. The tense mood was cut with the man's hearty laugh. That's how this must be, Maebara-san. Cooperation from individuals in Hinamizawa who don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Understand? Neither Tomitake-san nor I believed in curses. But with the way things were going, it would just end up with Tomitake-san's death marking the 5th year. Which would mean that Hinamizawa had rejected Tomitake-san. That was something I couldn't allow. Tomitake-san was one of us. He didn't live in Hinamizawa, but he came every single year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There's no way that Tomitake-san could have been cursed by Oyashiro-sama. But there's nothing I can do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either. No. If you see or hear something that draws your attention, then that is enough. If I see or hear... He was talking in the future tense. Things or people, rumors, anything is fine. I don't care if they're unfounded. Here, this is my number. If I'm not there, then just leave a message with whoever picks up. He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. If I took it, then whether I wanted to or not, I'd be mired knee-deep in this matter. Please, help me solve these questions surrounding Tomitake-san's unfortunate death. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I needed to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched up the piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across my face. Everything we spoke of today is a secret. Please keep this confidential. From your friends as well, especially from Sonosaki-san and Furude-san, please do not inform them. Sonozaki? You mean Mion? Why? Are you saying they have something to do with the incident? With my friends' names brought up so abruptly and being told to keep it a secret from them, I became rather angry. This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose. Don't play games with me. Mion is a close friend of mine. I snapped at him, but he didn't seem to be offended. I wouldn't mind telling you, but it may just upset you. Say it. He hesitated a little. Turning his gaze to outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking for a bit. There is the possibility that the string of incidents happening here in Hinamizawa are a result of a village conspiracy. There's no way that could be right. Give me a break. First of all, is there any proof of that? No evidence. Also, each of these cases were resolved and none of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village. Then how did you come to that conclusion? Every year, the enemies of the village die on the day of the Watanagashi. Don't you think that is enough reason to suspect something? Only the residents of Hinamizawa felt that the day of the Watanagashi was sacred. So basically, because incidents happened on that day, it was somehow related to Hinamizawa. First, it was the dam construction foreman. Then it was the villager that supported it. Those the village hold a grudge against die one after the other from mysterious causes. The means are different, but in the end, the result is the same. Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But it couldn't just be shrugged off. So, the victims after that? What about the Shinto priest and his wife's death? They weren't enemies of the village. The villagers had expected leadership from the Shinto priest at the time of the dam dispute, but he wasn't proactive, so there was a faction of villagers who harbored ill will towards him as a result. Ill will? It's not like he did anything bad to the village. What about the housewife after that? Did she die just because she was the wife of the brother of a supporter? That's just a trivial reason, such a trivial reason to kill someone. And what about Tomitake-san? He's not affiliated with the dam project at all. Was he killed just because he was an outsider? In the beginning it fell on those related to the dam project, but as the years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims had become much lower. Well, that's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower. What's scary about that? It means it's not just enemies of the village anymore. Just being an outsider is reason enough. Then, next year's victim, they're just going to be picked out of the village outsider pool? It might be a person that just moved here. What do you mean by... I swallowed my words. Here in Hinamizawa, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof enough of that, wasn't I? I still couldn't really remember the names of the people I passed by. Then, the next victims, my family. Was he saying it was going to be me? But what does that have to do with Mion? I can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the dam protests. Quite fervently so. This is also true of Mion Sonozaki-san herself. She has quite a few misdemeanor and obstruction of public worker offenses on her record because of the protests. I knew Mion knew what it meant to fight. This was the first I'd heard of her family leading the protests, though. Then, well, what did it all mean? Are you saying that Mion's family is involved with this string of incidents? I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that if it was a conspiracy, then they'd have the highest probability of being behind it. Not a very clear explanation. It felt like he'd magnificently avoided the details I really wanted to know. We don't know who or how involved anyone is right now. That is exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers. Instead of answering, I gave a very bitter expression. It seemed that he understood it well enough. Then think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe it's the curse. How about that? What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? But the reasoning behind wanting me to not carelessly open my mouth about it wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. It had nothing to do with the curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes. And none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry needlessly. Just like everyone kept it from me, so I wouldn't worry about it. Is it now my turn to keep it from them so they don't have to worry? I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidents yearly, and the incident this time probably means a lot more to them. I didn't want to burden them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man had wanted, as insipid as it was, but it couldn't be helped. I understand. I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine, Mr. Oishi from the Okinomiya police station? You can call me Kura-chan if you want. No. Oishi-san is fine. The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. He was the spitting image of a vulgar police officer. Though I've never seen one this bulky before in the cop shows I watched. I've taken up too much time. Your friends are waiting, aren't they? I should probably let you get back to them. The door opened with a click and in streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside of the car. Was it really this hot of a day? It was almost cruel heat, as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the land of Hinamizawa itself suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as that thought crossed my mind. I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that. I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something that self-serving. It's fine if you don't see or hear anything, Maebara-san. There is enough proof that the village is not involved. I'll contact you if I hear or see anything, but I'm no detective. Please don't expect too much from me. I won't. You don't have to become a detective. Just go on living as you have up until now. Just let me know if you notice anything. I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow. See you later. Farewell, my Parakun. I returned to the school building without looking back. I don't know how much time had passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tamitake-san's death was hard enough as it was, but to think that there was a possibility of a village conspiracy, whereas still, there was also a chance that Mion was involved. Nonsense. Impossible. Not Mion, Rena, Satoko, or Rika-chan. It was a group that attacked Tamitake-san. Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here, somewhere in Hinamizawa? I didn't know. All I could say for certain was that I knew that Mion couldn't be the perpetrator. It's me-chan, the perpetrator! Huh? I was startled to hear Rena's voice. With a rope, in the lounge. No! No! Rena clutched her head while flailing about. Looks like you're just self-destructing over here. Wow.
Ah, Keiichi-san, you're quite late. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was called into the staff room, you see. You were reprimanded for bad behavior. That's a shame. Well, it's been pretty heated over here. Since it's getting pretty late, let's make the next game the last one. If I remember right, I had 0 points. Isn't it pretty much decided that I'm going to be finishing last place? Don't worry, Keiichi-kun. I'm at -1 point. The heck? Her score is lower than mine and I wasn't even playing. This is the final match to decide if the penalty is going to be carried out by Rena alone or by both Kei-chan and Rena. Yeah, right. Just let Rena do the penalty by herself.
We made a promise, Keiji-kun, that we would both win. I waited all this time, you know?
I'm sorry about that. I followed my initial plan of showing Rena my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call.
I got it! The murderer is me, with the poison at the entrance. Is it?
My, Rena! Quite a quick answer! Another stab in the dark? Oh,
Rena's correct. Oh, then it's decided that Keiichi-san shall take the part in the penalty as well. Hooray! Keiichi-kun, let's both do our best.
yeah, let's do our best. It's my fault, so I have no choice. Then, that's a game. It's me, Mion Sanazaki, ranked first. I'm awesome. In the dead last are Keiichi Maebara and Rena Ryugo. Everyone applauded and the game ended. The problem now was the penalty. Now then, I ranked first, so I'll decide what you'll be buying for the gopher penalty.
What will she make us buy? I wonder.
Let's blacklist this drugstore. That was your aim, wasn't it? Huh. I don't have any business at the drugstore. This old man's already got a list of prepared for you on this piece of paper.
Oh, there's a lot written here.
A lot? Damn it, what is she making us buy? 2 blocks of tofu, shampoo and conditioner, apple vinegar and fried tofu? The heck is this?
It looks more like a shopping list than a penalty.
Me was certain she was going to win today. Rule 7 of our society. You cannot refuse any penalty. Here's some money. The shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable. Thanks. This is just your grocery list. I promised myself that I won next time. I'd make her buy a hemorrhoid cream. I mean, that's not that bad. Why is he complaining? You have received 2 tips. There are more than 4 perpetrators and search notice. Hypovolemic shock induced by clawing out their own throat. Tissue is packed under the nails, not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scars also matches. Yeah. I know the immediate cause of death was suicide. I get it. You're saying the cause of death is unnatural, right? It's kinda like when your back itches and you scratch a little too hard and draw blood. Some of Tomitake's fingernails had been pulled out. It's actually quite simple to pull out one's own nails, ew, but it really hurts. Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, there were a lot of bruises on Tomitake's body. It's clear from the shape of them that he was assaulted first by someone or a group of people. According to the toxicology report, the deceased was in extreme state of hysteria right before the death. Then he fought back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he had become. The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. It is possible that in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts that a sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases. Actually, Oishi-kun, that wood blank the deceased used as a weapon, they only found sand and the paint from the guardrail on it. What about the cloth fibers or skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Or it could be they took the plank he was fighting back with. In that case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They'd take them all. Ha ha ha, that's true. Tomitake, pretty built and tanned. He was quite athletic. Huh? That's right, he was pretty active. I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side. Meaning he would be difficult to overpower in a brawl. If a man with such physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around quickly, it's just unthinkable that he wouldn't even nick the perpetrator. And his opponent was unarmed. This guy had a wooden plank, so you'd think he'd hit him at least once. To surround and take down someone of his physique, I wonder how many people it would take. You dimwit, you should know better than anyone. Have you forgotten your bad cop days? If I was going to take down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down a big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I'd guess about 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage. Then there were quite a few perpetrators. So any drunk and disorderly groups of more than 4 are suspicious. A group of 4 or more. Just, if they had that many, then couldn't they have hidden the body in a less obvious location? Or did he somehow break away from that fatal predicament? Then there would be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries. That's under serious consideration on my end, too. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we've never encountered a death like this before. I'm not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results. Ashi-san,
The chief is calling for you.
thanks, see you around. Yeah, best wishes. Shiro Tomitake, deceased. Resided in a cheap hotel in Shishibone City. Registered under the name Shiro Tomitake. Pen name. Travels via folding bike, no license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned at the side of a forest path. Present on the day of the festival, accompanied by missing Mio Takano, was seen around 9 p.m. by police, location afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week each season for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds, check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. Wallet was among the articles of the deceased. Mere act of violence? ? From the contents of his wallet, he spent most his time around Tokyo and Chiba, along the Sobu National Railway line. No individual matching the name Shiro Tomitake in the residency records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compared teeth and to dental records sent to Metro Police. Attach a photo sent to Metro Police containing magazine regarding Shiro Tomitake. Mio Takano missing. Nurse at Erie Clinic, became close to Tomitake through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okinomiya, ex-district, single. Witnessed accompanying Tomitake on the festival grounds, currently missing. Abducted, ? Or maybe a suspect, an important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased, squabble from jealousy, need to thoroughly investigate their relationship, place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Oishi.
Whoa, that was a really big yawn, Keiichi-kun.
I'm usually awake once it's time to eat, but doesn't look like I can do it today. I was watching TV until late last night, so I'm tired right now. Was one of those raunchy TV shows you loved so much on last night?
Oh, extremely vile.
Don't jump to conclusions. It's perfectly normal for boys. Nothing to be ashamed about. Rika not patting my head only made me feel worse. Could you just let me pass out this lunch break? No, seriously?
Nah, you think I would just sit here and allow that?
I'll get really angry if you disturb me. Really angry. This was just dreadful. Just so sleepy. I slumped my head on the desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. It seemed that Sadako had responded, but I pretended not to hear.
Cut it out, Sadako-san. Keiji-kun fell asleep. His sleeping face. So cute.
You can take him home later. Let him be for now.
Let's move over there. It'd be rude to Keiji if we bothered him now.
Rika-chan really is a good girl.
Let's not wake him up even if the teacher comes back.
I take that back. The excuse that I didn't sleep much last night because I was watching TV was a lie. I was in bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation with Oishi-san that afternoon, I didn't get much sleep. Just spending the day like this, it's almost as if the incident with Take-san didn't happen at all. It made me think, was Oishi-san just trying to deceive me? But it was probably the truth. One thing was certain, I couldn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I really didn't know anything about it. If I knew I wasn't going to be of any help, I probably wouldn't have listened in the first place. It ended up with me, again, regretting learning something I didn't need to know. If I had never learned about it, I would without a doubt be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Oishi-san for this.
Huh? When was that?
I heard he wasn't there the next day. It appears he vanished in the night of the Watanagashi. Mion whispered to keep others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Rena's voice was even harder to pick up, but I could still tell she was quite upset. It couldn't be. Are they talking about Tomitake-san?
Take?
Not sure. That's all I know. I would have feigned ignorance about this topic because I needed to keep it a secret. Rather than waking up and being forced to lie to join the conversation, it was much easier to just sit here and pretend I was asleep to listen in on their discussion. Wait, why did I have to pretend to be asleep while eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung. So, and me, there are others, right? Too?
But they don't know if it's from the curse of, or if this was an Onikakushi.
Onikakushi? Onikakushi? To be hidden away by a demon? What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it meant nothing good.
There was another, right? Right?
If it is Oyashiro-sama's, yeah.
But this year, after all?
Grandma and the mayor had talked about it. Seems they talked to the police about it beforehand. They said take care of whatever happens this year without causing a commotion.
Then, without us knowing, someone had... them, you mean?
Maybe.
Next could be me. I wonder.
Don't worry. You got home safely.
But it's not allowed, right?
That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this. Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was still a bit unclear, but a few parts caught my attention. First of all, the term onikakushi, to be demoned away. By the context it was used in, I would guess it's similar to being spirited away. I suspected that it was what it meant because Tomitake-san and that woman, it really bugged me that I don't know her name, vanished after the Watanagashi. The next thing that stuck out was when Rena said, "There's another one, right?" Mion also said, "If it's Oyashiro-sama's, yeah," responding to something. If it's Oyashiro-sama's curse, then there had to be 2 victims. Is that what she meant? Come to think of it, I remember Mion saying at the beginning that they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was a case of Onikakushi. So these are two different things. It seems that the curse and being demoned away are different things, yeah, and they were phenomena that were paired together. I recall Tomitake-san's terrible end. That wasn't something as elegant as disappearing. That horrendous end would be best described as cursed. Then the woman with him, it means she vanished because she was demoned away. What I do know is that there's normally an even number of victims of the curse proper. And the last point that bothered me was Rena. Rena was frightened. For what reason, I don't know. However, she knew that something had made her a potential target for Oyashiro-sama's curse. If I recall correctly, Oyashiro-sama should be the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. Isn't the guardian deity supposed to defend the citizens and drive out the invaders? If I recall correctly, yesterday Oishi-san said that originally the targets were enemies of the village, but recently there was no longer any distinction between them or regular outsiders. But if that was the case, then I would think that I'd be the more likely target, having moved here more recently than Rena. From her composure, I could infer that she was grimly certain that she would be next. I should probably relay what I had heard just now to Oishi-san. Informing the police of what I heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep, it made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions and left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Would it be better not to seek the answer to those questions? As I continued to learn more and more, I felt like I had fallen past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret ever having learned this of these events.
The teacher approaches! Kenji-san, you must be awakened!
In the distance, I could hear the ring of the handbell signaling the start of the afternoon classes. I couldn't sleep at all. I hastily opened my eyes and raised my head up. It was in that moment when I leaned against the back of my seat. Ow! There was a thumbtack stuck on the back of my chair with the tape. Circumstantial evidence was enough. Satoko! Guilty without trial. Capital punishment. I furiously jumped up from my seat and tripped as my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces had been tied together. Not bad, Satoko. While I was sleeping, you were able to conceal your presence and able to pull off this fine piece of work. The teacher came in right as I was about to pull off my shoes and tackle Satoko.
Did you not notice that our teacher has arrived, Kenji-san? Take your seat.
Plump, plump, push, push, push. Not caring one bit, I made her ear eat a flick to the forehead.
Kenji-san is being mean.
Hey, don't pick on the younger kids, Maebara-kun. Apologize to her. I saw Satoko stick out her tongue at me. Oh, that little brat.
Come on, Maebara-kun.
Yeah, I'll apologize. Sorry, Satoko-san. In any case, I apologized even if it was in a completely insincere tone of voice. Damn her, I'll remember this.
Kei-chan, get your revenge at the club meetings. Take your seat.
I sat down after Mion told me to. She'd switched to class representative mode. With the boring classes finished, school was finally over for today. Now then, what should we do for our club today? Personally, I would like to play that deduction game one more time. I was hardly able to play it last time because of Oishi-san. Rena and I weren't even able to test out our strategy.
That's right, today Keiichi-kun and I will be victorious. What should we do? We've never played the same game 2 days in a row before.
Why not try asking me? Mia looked over her shoulder as we made eye contact. She slowly tapped her palm with her fist as her face suddenly lit up.
Oops,
I completely forgot. I need to go help my uncle today. Sorry guys, not today. Helping your uncle? Aren't you a little goody two-shoes? Sorry, really? I really did forget. Well then, sorry guys. This old man is heading back home now. Mion left us with that and rushed off to the exit after snatching up her bag. You see, Mi-chan? She sometimes goes to help out her uncle's shop in town. I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome stuff.
She said that she gets paid for it. It's quite a bit of spending money from what I hear.
I see. She was able to pay up for that mountain of games with what she saved up from there. But wouldn't you call that a part-time job? Isn't that against school policy?
There's a clause that states family businesses are excluded.
Is that what she's calling it? So what now? Pass on the club today?
So, we're done today, I guess.
Won't it be fine even without the club president? Let's do this. I opened the club locker and began searching for the deduction game from that ever-growing pile of games. Ah, here it is, the deduction game from yesterday. Man, I had to stop just as I was getting the hang of it. At the very least, I wanted to repay Sadako for what she did during this afternoon break.
I do not mind, but is that fine for Rena-san and Rika?
If Keiichi-kun wants to so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit.
I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together.
When she says it like that...
I wanted to go shopping if there wasn't a club meeting today. Going to buy soy sauce and other things.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot.
Well, I guess since it's been a while, I should go treasure hunting.
What's this now? Everyone was no longer in the mood for club activities. If I kept on trying to push the matter, it may make them realize I had a trick up my sleeve. Oh well, I'll give up this time. Man, I really was looking forward to playing it. I shuffled through the cards as if I was still caught up on it.
At the next opportunity, I shall give you a sound thrashing.
The murderer is Satoko. The murder weapon is the pistol. It was you after all.
What did you say? Then I'll just...
Sadako looked through the cards on the desk and stuck out 3 of them at me.
The murderer is Keiichi, in the lounge, with a rope.
I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you like this.
No! Keiichi-san is such a beast!
Phew. Well, I guess it's good that I got that out of my system.
I'll remember this, Keiichi-san!
She was used as a plaything for quite a while. How unfortunate.
Cute! Cute!
Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered cards. I suddenly paused. They were just the suspect cards, but I noticed something strange. Rena, Satoko, Rika, Keiichi, Mion. Satoshi. Satoshi? Not all the cards were made by us. Or at least every card beside this one has the name of a club member. Does this mean that this Satoshi fellow is a member? Was there someone in the class named Satoshi? I couldn't find anyone named Satoshi on the class roster stuck up on the wall.
Keiichi-kun, let's hurry and finish cleaning up.
Being rushed by Rena, I finished up quickly. Satoko and Rika-chan had already headed merrily for their lockers, so we were the only ones left in the classroom. Right now, Rena had already gotten her bag and was ready to leave. Rena, there must be quite a few people who transfer from this school, right? I tried asking Rena in a bit of a roundabout way. Rena made a troubled face and then answered.
Yeah?
Hinamizawa is a rural town, right? Some people transfer out every now and then.
Then is Satoshi another one of those transferees?
Sorry, I don't really know.
There was a bit of a pause, but the answer was pretty much immediate.
I'm not saying it to be mean. I just, last year, I transferred in, so maybe I just missed him. So I didn't hear much about him. Sorry.
I'm not sure. Sorry. Her answer was a lot like when she refused to tell me about the murder at the dam. I was saddened by her denial and felt a little bit of anger. I'm their friend, aren't I? Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? Well, actually, they do. It's like everybody has secrets and it's totally okay. It's unreasonable to demand that you tell everything to everyone. Though I do appreciate that they kept that unsettling curse thing from me. But if everyone is worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right? For a moment, I wondered just what kind of face I was making just then, with these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance.
Keiji-kun, you're making a scary face. Why is it? Why?
That was probably exactly the kind of face Rena said it was. It appeared my grim expression had frightened her. Sorry. I was really looking forward to the club today and just feeling down about it. I rustled Rena's hair. Let's go home. Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. I wonder why. Why have I been getting this dumb feeling lately? I don't know everything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. My long outstretched shadow gave no answer to my naive inquiry.
Keiji-kun, are you tired maybe?
Rena timidly questioned the reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression made this situation even more unsettling. You think so?
Yeah, you seem to have been a little out of it ever since this morning. Maybe a cold?
Physically, I was pretty sure I was in perfect health. It may not seem like it, but I've had perfect attendance since elementary school. Rena continued on since I didn't give her an answer.
It could be that the fatigue from moving has finally caught up to you. It's completely different from where you used to live, after all. Of course, you've gotten tired since there's so much you need to get used to and remember.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, it has to be. Rena was also like that first, too. I can tell, you know?
I wondered if Rena also experienced the slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Thinking so, I felt that she was the only one who could understand how I felt. I'd like to hear about when you first came to Hinamizawa. How was it? Feeling I'd been drawn into the conversation, her face suddenly brightened.
It was the same as Keiji-kun. I didn't know the villagers' names at all. Michan and the rest were all very kind, so I wasn't lonely, but I did still feel a little out of place.
Rena told me all the details when she had moved here. All of her first acquaintances and surprises, worries and good times. So, Sadako got you too?
Yeah, there was a thumbtack put on my chair. Poke. Then with that, yeah, that really takes me back.
When were you invited to the club? The first day?
Nah, there wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed partway through. One day, she said we should stay after and hold a big game tournament.
Come to think of it, Mion did say she was the first club president. Now I get it.
This is a secret, but Michan used to be really bad at the beginning. She'd never win.
Huh? Mion? Really? I can't even imagine that.
She had to do most of the penalties that she came up with. Seriously, don't tell.
I can't believe Mion was like that. So she gradually transformed into a monster who used any means necessary to win during that time. Mion is at her best when she is fighting dirty.
I began making more friends besides Michan after that, but yeah, it might have only been since you moved here that I had finally felt like I had gotten used to it here.
I guess Rena had also been left in the dark about Oyashiro-sama when she had just moved here. I guess when they finally told me about Oyashiro-sama, I'd be considered one of them. I wonder when I'll finally be considered one of them.
Huh? Did you say something?
No, sorry, just talking to myself.
Keiji-kun, you're silly.
Rena was poking fun and laughing at me, and I couldn't help but laugh as well. But I suddenly stopped. Then, after making up my mind, I spoke. Hey Rena, is there something that everybody is keeping from me?
Huh? No, not at all.
You're lying, aren't you? Rena suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense.
What do you mean by that, Keiji-kun?
Her tone was still the same, cheery and light-hearted one as before. You are, aren't you? Keeping something from me. After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regretted saying something so rash. But she came back at me in a way I didn't expect.
Well then, Keiji-kun, aren't you keeping something from us?
Huh? Her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I'd seen this expression from Rena. With how her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe this was the same Rena.
Aren't you? Lies or secrets? Aren't you?
You are. Secrets. She didn't exactly say that part, but she looked as if she did. The incident with Tomitake-san and how I felt alienated from the group. Even without having to think about it, there were things I knew that I felt guilty about. But I didn't tell everyone about what happened with Tomitake-san to be considerate. I was keeping it a secret just the same way they didn't tell me about Oyashiro-sama. Then, aren't we even? No, I'm not. No lies. No secrets.
Liar.
Her answer was instant and it shook me. Rena stared as if burrowing through me, watching me like a hawk. Why would you say I'm lying?
Didn't you say that you were called into the teacher's room yesterday during the club meeting, Keiji-kun? I know. You didn't go to the teacher's room.
I swallowed hard. It clearly wasn't a bluff. She knew what happened.
The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But you didn't talk at the entrance. You talked inside of the car near the school gate with some man we don't know.
Rena knew everything. She knew that I was called out by Oishi-san and that I heard about the incident with Tomitake-san as well. Did she know all of it?
Exactly who was that man?
I don't know him.
Why did someone you don't know have business with you?
I want to know that myself.
Then what did you talk about?
It has nothing to do with you guys. It was a lie.
Lies!
Rena's scream echoed through the trees, sending frightened birds into the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I had just taken. No, it was like I wasn't allowed to exhale. It was here I first realized. The person in front of me, she wasn't Rena Ryugu. Then who was it that was standing before me now? Who had assumed Rena Ryugu's appearance? I held my breath for so long I could feel myself suffocating.
Right?
And then she made a facial expression that Rena normally might have made. It didn't matter that it was Rena's usual smile. It chilled me to the bone. She drew closer to me. I felt her breath against my face. It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever this was with Rena's face was going to chew my nose right off. I cowered as I imagined that. Then she smirked as if she was able to see right through me.
We also have secrets, just like how Keiji-kun has secrets.
It was Rena's usual smile, but her eyes were still like that of hawks. Bringing her face close enough to mine to almost bump into my nose, she kindly persuaded me. I couldn't nod or shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Rena, frightened me to my core. I was terrified knowing that she could hear the sound of me swallowing nervously. After what felt like an eternity, after a long, empty silence, she finally spoke.
Let's go. It's getting chilly.
It was Rena again. Smiling at me once more, she started walking as if nothing had happened at all. And this is where we end this episode of Higurashi When They Cry. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this, please let me know. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I will see you again next time.